Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt a little thrill when you saw someone you envy, maybe a celebrity or an influencer, make a mistake or face some public backlash? If you have, you're not alone. But have you ever stopped to ask why? Why does their misfortune sometimes feel good? Let's start with a chilling statistic. Since the year 2000, around the time social media began its march into every corner of our lives, studies have shown that empathy levels among young adults have plummeted by a staggering 40%. 40%. At the same time, a German word has quietly crept into our daily vocabulary, Schadenfreude. It means taking pleasure in the suffering of others. Coincidence? I think not. The way we interact online through our screens and keyboards is fundamentally rewiring our brains. It's conditioning us to enjoy others' failures, and frankly, it's getting worse. Today, we're diving deep into the Schadenfreude epidemic. We'll explore how social media became the perfect breeding ground for this emotion, how it's systematically dismantling our empathy, and what this all means for our society. Is it possible to reclaim our compassion in an age of digital disconnection? Let's find out. First, let's be clear about what Schadenfreude is. It's not just about disliking someone. It's a complex emotional cocktail, a mix of joy, relief, and even a sense of justice when we see someone else stumble, especially someone we perceive as being more successful, powerful, or perfect than us. Historically, this emotion was a face-to-face experience. You'd hear gossip about a rival in your village or see a pompous nobleman slip on a banana peel. But the scale was small, and the social consequences of being caught delighting in someone's pain were very real. You could be ostracized. Enter social media. Suddenly, the entire world is our village, and everyone is putting on a show. We're constantly bombarded with curated, picture-perfect lives. Lavish vacations, flawless selfies, career achievements, and perfect families. This isn't reality. It's a highlight reel. And subconsciously, it fuels envy and resentment. We see these seemingly perfect lives, and it can make our own feel inadequate in comparison. Our brains are wired for social comparison. It's how we've always figured out our place in the tribe. But now, the tribe is billions of people, and we're comparing our messy, behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's polished public performance. This creates the perfect psychological setup for Schadenfreude. When that celebrity with the perfect life gets caught in a scandal, or that influencer's sponsored post backfires spectacularly, it feels like a cosmic balancing of the scales. It momentarily relieves the pressure of our own perceived inadequacies. That little jolt of pleasure we feel is our brain saying, "See? They're not so perfect after all. Maybe my life isn't so bad." The problem is, social media platforms are designed to amplify these moments. Think about how it works. A public figure makes a mistake. The internet pounces. Memes are created, mocking tweets go viral, and comment sections fill with ridicule. The algorithm, which only cares about engagement, sees this explosion of activity and pushes it to the top of everyone's feed. We're not just witnessing a fall from grace. We're actively participating in a global digital public shaming. And this brings us to a critical point: psychological distance. The screen acts as a powerful barrier. It separates us from the real-world consequences of our words and reactions. When you're typing a snarky comment from your couch, you don't see the person on the other end. You don't see their face crumble, their shoulders slump, or their eyes fill with tears. You don't see the real human impact. They become an avatar, a username, an abstract concept rather than a flesh-and-blood person with feelings. This process is called dehumanization, and it's the key that unlocks consequence-free Schadenfreude. Online, it's incredibly easy to forget that Celeb X or Influencer Y is a real person. They become a character in the daily drama of the internet. Mocking them feels less like bullying a person and more like critiquing a character in a TV show. There are no immediate social repercussions for us. No one in our immediate circle will call us out for laughing at a meme. In fact, we're often rewarded with likes and shares, reinforcing the behavior. We get a hit of dopamine for our clever takedown, and another hit from the Schadenfreude itself. It's a dangerously addictive loop. This constant exposure to digital pile-ons and the pleasure we derive from them has a corrosive effect on our empathy. Empathy is a muscle. It requires practice. It requires us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and try to feel what they're feeling. But social media trains us to do the exact opposite. It trains us to see a person's pain as a form of entertainment. Think about the structure of a cancellation. It often starts with a legitimate criticism, but it quickly morphs into a frenzy of pure mockery and hatred. The punishment rarely fits the crime. People dig up decade-old tweets, misinterpret jokes, and strip all context to fuel the fire. The goal is no longer accountability. It's destruction. And we, the audience, watch it unfold like a spectator sport. We're not encouraged to think, wow, that person must be going through hell right now. I wonder how they're coping. Instead, the environment encourages us to grab our popcorn and say, they had it coming. This is how empathy dies. Not in a single dramatic moment, but through 1,000 tiny cuts. 1,000 laughs at someone else's expense. 1,000 clicks on a humiliating headline. 1,000 shared memes mocking a stranger's worst day. Each one of these actions weakens our ability to connect with another's humanity. We're becoming conditioned to see suffering not as a call for compassion, but as content. So what's the long-term damage? When a society loses its empathy, it loses its glue. Empathy is the foundation of cooperation, of kindness, of our willingness to help one another. When we enjoy seeing others fall, it becomes harder to build communities. It fosters a culture of us versus them, of constant judgment and fear. We become more polarized, less willing to forgive, and more inclined to believe the worst about people. We're creating a world where tearing each other down is more rewarding than lifting each other up. And that's a terrifying prospect. But it's not hopeless. We are not just passive victims of the algorithm. We have a choice. The first step is awareness. Simply recognizing this pattern in our own online behavior is a huge leap forward. The next time you see a public shaming unfold online, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, who is this person really? What might they be feeling? Is my participation, even as a silent spectator, contributing to something positive or something destructive? We can consciously choose to exercise our empathy muscle. Instead of immediately sharing that mocking meme, maybe we can scroll past it. Instead of leaving a snarky comment, we can choose silence, or even better, leave a comment of support on someone else's positive post. We can actively curate our feeds to be more positive and less focused on drama and outrage. Follow creators who are uplifting, educational, and inspiring. Mute or unfollow accounts that thrive on negativity and ridicule. This is like changing your diet. You are what you consume, and that applies to information just as much as it applies to food. We can also bring our online interactions back to a human level. Remember that every username is a person. Try to communicate online with the same respect and courtesy you would use if you were speaking to them face to face. It's a simple rule, but it's a powerful one. Finally, let's advocate for better digital spaces. The platforms themselves have a responsibility here. They've designed the systems that reward this behavior. We can demand more thoughtful design, algorithms that don't just prioritize outrage for engagement, and better moderation tools that distinguish between legitimate criticism and destructive pile-ons. The erosion of empathy isn't an unstoppable force of nature. It's the result of choices we make every day, individually and collectively. We got ourselves into this mess and we can get ourselves out. It starts with a simple choice. The choice to see the human being behind the screen. The choice to choose compassion over clicks and empathy over entertainment. Let's start practicing that choice today. Thanks so much for watching. If this video made you think, please consider sharing it, as that's how we can spread this conversation. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you noticed this trend in your own feed or even in yourself? Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into our modern world. See you next time.